There you are, right on time. I've kept the fire waiting for you, fed it slowly, watched the sparks dance in patterns that only stories can decipher. Tonight, it glows differently again, not sharp like before, but wide and welcoming. A cradle of flame, a promise, because something is ending, yes, but not with silence, with becoming. The final pieces have stirred, haven't they? You feel it. So does the earth. The prophecy no longer drifts. It settles. We began this story with visions, with echoes of forgotten truths and whispers from deep places. You followed the dreamer through darkness, through doubt, through mirrors and memory. You watched them break and build and bend. And now, at last, you will see what all of it has been leading toward. Not just the end of a journey, but the start of a new world, breathed into life by light hard-earned. The path ahead no longer wavered beneath their steps. With each footfall, the land welcomed them, not in celebration, but in understanding. The dreamer no longer questioned the flame. It had fused with their spirit, no longer a thing they carried, but a language they spoke. The pendant glowed not with urgency, but with peace, constant like a heartbeat. It guided them now to the mountain's edge, where stone met sky. The summit had long been hidden in mist. No map could show the way. Only those who had walked through trials could find it. As the dreamer ascended, the wind carried scents from across the land, rain from far valleys, flowers from unseen groves, ash from fires long gone. Each scent was a story, each step a choice made manifest, and at the summit stood the circle. Ancient stones arranged not for power, but memory, each one carved with symbols older than language. The dreamer stepped into the center. The world hushed. Even the wind stopped to listen. The oracle appeared, not from a path, but from light itself. She wore no cloak now, no veil. Her presence no longer otherworldly, but intimate, real. She looked at the dreamer as one might look into water, deeply, without expectation. "You've come," she said, as if it was always meant to be, and it was. Behind her, the elders emerged, figures from prophecy, yes, but also from story. The weaver, who stitched dreams into night, the shaper, who molded stone with song, the listener, who had no mouth but heard all, and finally, the seed keeper, whose eyes were forests. They said nothing, they bowed, and the oracle spoke. "The prophecy has ripened," she said. Its words were never about future alone. They were about readiness. You were the one we waited for, not because of destiny, but because you chose. The dreamer knelt, not in submission, but in reverence. "Then what must I do?" The oracle stepped forward. In her hands, a scroll, thin, gold-edged, glowing faintly. "Read," she said, "not with your eyes, with your life." The scroll opened, not with hands, but with presence. As the dreamer stood, the words lifted like threads, weaving images in the air. Visions bloomed. A future where rivers ran clean again, where cities hummed in harmony with roots, where children held fire in their palms without fear. And most vivid of all, people walking together, carrying light from place to place, not to burn, but to plant. The dreamer wept, not from sorrow, but from recognition. "This is possible," they whispered. "Yes," the oracle answered, voice soft, steady, "but only because you bore the cost. You stepped into the silence. You faced the mirror. You reached instead of striking. And now, others will remember how." From within the circle, the stones began to hum, a low vibration, almost like a breath. The sky dimmed, not with shadow, but with focus. A beam of pale light descended from above, landing on the pendant. It pulsed once, then twice, and then split. The flame rose from it, no longer tethered, no longer bound. It spun in the air, growing wider, transforming into a ribbon of golden fire. It wrapped around the circle, around each elder, and finally around the dreamer. But it did not burn, it crowned. "This is not an ending," the oracle said. It is ignition." And just then, all across the land, others looked up. In the village, elders paused at their doors. Children raised their hands to the sky. In far cities, bells rang without being touched. In the forest, the old wolves stopped howling. They knew change had arrived, not in thunder, but in truth. The dreamer stepped out of the circle. The scroll vanished. The pendant, now dim, tucked into their chest, no longer a beacon, but a reminder. They looked down the mountain, and what they saw stole their breath. Green, gold, blue, the land, healing. The oracle walked beside them, her form already fading. "You will not need me now," she said. "I never truly did," the dreamer replied, smiling. She laughed. "No, but it was an honor," and then she was gone. The dreamer walked, not down the mountain, but forward, across it, through it, beyond it. And as they walked, others followed, not out of worship, but out of resonance. Each one lit their own flame. Each one chose to carry, not command. Far away, in the cave where silence had once held court, the pool now shimmered. It sang softly to itself. The crystal, long dark, flickered once, then burst with light. Across its surface, 1,000 paths appeared, and every single one began with choice. The dreamer returned to the village, but it was not the same. The people did not fall to their knees. They opened their arms. They asked questions. They shared stories. The children listened. The dreamer listened back. It was not a coronation. It was communion. Over time, the story spread, not like rumor, but like roots. In every hearth, people began lighting small flames, not for warmth alone, but to remember, to pass forward. The prophecy, now complete, became something else entirely. A guide. Years passed, and the dreamer grew older, but they never grew distant. They built, walked, tended. In the quiet hours, they returned to the mountain, not for answers, for peace. And sometimes, at night, children would gather at the edge of the fire, just like this, and someone would sit beside them. Maybe someone like me, and they would say, "Did I ever tell you about the dreamer? The one who carried the flame?" And now, here we are. You've heard it all. The prophecy has folded into you now. You carry it, whether you meant to or not. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you be the one who walks, who tends, who reaches, or will you forget the flame? I hope not, because even now, The fire watches, it listens, it remembers every listener, every witness, every quiet believer. Let it settle in your chest, let it soften your hands, and when the time comes, let it guide someone else home.